Hello students, welcome back. This is Eric Magidson with Central Oregon Community College. This is part 2 of lesson 2, creating and editing a workbook. In part 2 we are going to edit a workbook's properties. We're going to look at printing a worksheet, setting the print area, saving a workbook for the first time, saving a workbook for use in a previous version of Excel, and finally choosing a different file format in which to save and then present your Excel spreadsheet. So we're going to go back to the spreadsheet we started and continue on. I'm on page 33 of the text. I'm going to close the clipboard. I'm going to get back to sheet 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to click the Microsoft Office button, choose Prepare, and go to Properties. This is going to bring up the properties for this document. And as you can see in the author field, it's auto-populated based on the fact that I registered my software as E. Magidson. But let's say I wanted to change that to Eric Magidson. I can type that in. So the author will key our name. In the title, we're going to say Sales Report. We're going to hit the Tab key, and we're going to continue on. So in the Document Properties panel, in the keywords, we're going to go to Keywords here, and type in agent, and we're going to comment or comma the keywords. As you can see, I've already done this assignment, and we're going to say closing. So the keywords for this, as we search keywords, would show up as agent or closing. So we could search by those terms and it would bring up this document. We're going to click the advanced properties, which is right up here. And this is going to let us get a look at the advanced properties. So this, folks, is how I could see if, say, two students turned in the same document and didn't do work independently, because I could go into summary, I could look at the author, I could go to statistics. What's the possibility that two people create the same assignment down to the second? I haven't modified this document, or else I would have an original creation date, a modified date, access, when the last time it was printed. Contents, and then of course any custom fields that I wanted to put as additional properties into the document. So let's go ahead and set the print area. So we're on sheet 1. I'm going to go ahead and close the document properties so we have all of our space, and we're going to select C1 through C9. We're going to go to the Office button, and this time we're going to choose Print and Print. If you notice, my computer defaults to my home printer because I've set it as a default printer. I can come down here and Print Selection, and now if I was to hit OK, it would try to print to the OfficeJet, and it would print the information that I've selected only on the spreadsheet. Let's take a preview of that, and we can see that that information is what is selected. I'm going to close that. I'm going to select A1 through B9. A1 through B9. We're going to go to the Layout tab. We're going to choose Print Area, and we're going to set this as the print area. Now if we click off of this, we're going to see a fine dotted line, and let's go ahead and we'll look at Print Preview. So I always suggest, before hitting print, go to Print Preview and see if what you expected to print is going to print. Here it is. Let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. Zoom in a little bit. And as you can see, we have additional data, but it's only going to print each time because we've set that print area. We can, of course, go back in and change that print area. I'm going to close this real quick. And so we've seen a print preview. And we'll move on with the assignment. So the idea behind setting the print area is perhaps I normally just want to print this portion of the document. But let's say I don't want to have to change the print area each time to maybe print the rest of the document. I can come up to the Office button, I can choose Print, I can go to the print. By the way, I can select different printers. So I can, in this case, I've got an Adobe PDF writer on my computer, so I could print to PDF from here. We'll look at other formats. I can print to Quicken PDF, an XPS document writer. But notice down here, I can choose ignore print areas. And when I do that and hit preview, you see it's printing the entire document again. So, that's pretty important for us to understand how to do. I'm on page 38. We're going to talk about saving the document. So I'm going to close this. We're again going to go into the Office button. Here I've already saved this. I can do Save As. And if you notice down here under the Save As type, I can go ahead and save it as an Excel workbook. The book has us call it Fabricam first quarter sales. So that's a good descriptive, actually it's Fabricam, isn't it? Good descriptive. And then of course, where do I want to put it? I can save it to my desktop, for example. I can save it into my documents. Of course I'm on Windows 7, as you can tell. I may have a folder here that I want to save it in, or I can choose new folder and create a new folder. So this is going to be Fabricam. I can select that folder, and now notice I'm in my libraries, documents, Fabricam, saving it as Fabricam first quarter sales, and I'll say save. If you notice at the point that I do that, the document is now saved as Fabricam first quarter sales, and book 3 goes away. So I'm going to quickly go through the outcomes of saving it as a different name. I can come in here, I can do Save As, again an Excel workbook. This first workbook saves it as the default format, in this case an Excel 2007 format. So all I have to do is hit Save As again. There's my first one. Maybe this is one that has with changes. So I've got the original, but I don't want to overwrite the original. I want to also have one with some changes that perhaps I've made. Notice it's in the same folder along the path. I choose Save, and now I'm looking at the one with changes. So finally, one of the things that we oftentimes want to do is, if we're using Office 2007 but somebody else has a previous version, we want to make sure that they can open it. Each time we get a new version, we get features and functionality that is not available in previous versions. So I can come to the Office button again, I can do Save As, and if you notice here, Excel 97 2003, so it's going to convert this workbook back to the old version so that people using Excel 97 through Excel 2003 can open it up. I can also save it, because I have Adobe PDF on my computer, I can save it as a PDF, but built into Office is the PDF or XPS. So I'm going to go ahead and choose PDF, and once I do this, I'm going to have to resize it so you can see it. Notice now instead of printing, it's going to publish, and it's going to go out and create a PDF, a printable document format of my Excel spreadsheet. Now, all of your examples in the homework are done that way, of course, so that you can't copy and paste. You got to do the work. So here's a PDF of it. And if you notice, I didn't turn on show grid lines. That's why the grid lines aren't showing up. If I wanted to print those, I've got to select that. But here's a PDF. And of course, with a PDF document, I can send it to people without Microsoft Office who have downloaded and installed the free Adobe PDF Reader, and they can open it on their Mac, they can open it on a Windows machine, an Ubuntu machine, they can even open it on their Android smartphone operating system. So that's a way to save the document in a different format. So let's go look at all the different types of formats that we can save it as. As you can tell, there's basic formats here. There's the Excel 2007. I wish they'd put that. That's a .xlsx file. X-ray, Larry, Sam, X-ray file. Here, it's an .xls file. X-ray, Larry, XLS, X-Ray Larry Sam file, Adobe PDF, an open document spreadsheet for Open Office, but notice here there's other formats. So let's go in and look at the other formats. I can actually save this Excel spreadsheet as some of the common formats you see, but also Excel data. I can even save it as a web page, .html. I can save it as a template. We'll talk about templates more later on in the class. Comma separated value, so basically a flat file that I can import into a database, and so on and so forth. So that's part 2 of this chapter, creating and editing a workbook, and I will talk to you soon.